One of our favourite two-day rides is what we call the Oxley Loop. We live in Lake Macquarie, south of Newcastle. So day one we ride up the highway to Port Macquarie, stay the night, and then day two we ride up the Oxley Highway to Walcha, and then back down Thunderbolt's Way to Gloucester and then home. This is all very well, but day one tends to be pretty boring. So this time we're mostly avoiding the highway. We're going to get all adventure-y and ride a bit of dirt road. And we'll be going via Combyne, Wingham, Combyne, and then up onto the Oxley Highway on day one to stay the night at Walcha. And because it's an adventure, I dropped my bike in the leaf litter while trying to do a U-turn. What an idiot. Wendy and I met James and Adrian at Heatherbrae Pies, and we took the highway all the way up to Bulahdelah and then turned off on the Wooten Way, which is a nice winding road through the mountain that takes off a section of the highway. This section of the road used to be the Pacific Highway, but now it's hardly ever used. There's a couple of houses and farms along the way, but that's about it. The road was still damp under the trees, so we took our time. Back on the M1 highway again for a few k's, and we turned off at Narbiak. We're now heading for Combyne. We're meeting Lauren and Tale here, and this is where we'll have morning tea. We've ridden through here a lot of times, but we've never actually stopped. And there's a nice little cafe just across the road there that we're going to check out. As you can see, it's a beautiful, crystal clear winter's day. Around here, this is the best time for motorcycle riding. It's much easier to warm up than cool down as far as clothing is concerned. And we get these beautiful, clear, crisp days. Anyway, the little cafe turned out to be a winner. And quite cute as well. Tale's riding a Can-Am Spider and Lauren's riding a Africa Twin. While Tale's been riding for a while, this is her first big adventure, away from home and the kids. Yeehaw! From Combyne we're heading towards Wingham. It's beautiful back country road, just farm after farm, and a nice pleasant road to relax on. It's not boring, it's nice and windy but fairly open. Just out of Wingham, we hit the dirt road. While some of the group aren't all that keen on riding dirt roads, this road proved to be okay. It was fairly well maintained, and it didn't have lots of slippery loose gravel on it like some do. The road climbed quite steeply up the mountain, and every now and then you'd get a beaut glimpse of the view. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll realise that I like riding dirt roads. It gives a real sense of adventure. But as you saw in the introduction, I'm not immune to its hazards. The embarrassing thing was that I was actually stopped at the time, and I basically just toppled over. How embarrassing. That leaf litter really is slippery stuff. It didn't take us long to get to Combyne, and this is where we're having lunch. It's a cute little town up in the mountains, and because this road isn't a through road to anywhere significant, there's hardly any traffic. It's all bitumen from here on in, and now the road starts winding back down the mountain. It's a bit of a challenging ride. The road's fairly chopped up, and the corners are quite sharp. But now we're out on the Oxley, the smooth, beautiful, winding road really gets going. Here's a little bit of left hand grip cam. Sorry about the jumpiness of it. The road actually seemed quite smooth, but the camera jumped around on my hand a fair bit. The little town of Long Flat signals that the real winding road's about to start. But we get a bit of bovine interruptus as the farmers and their dogs leisurely move the cows across the road. There's a bit of pleasant open country along here before the winding road starts. I have to say, the government has done a beautiful job on this road. All the way from here to the top of the tablelands, the road is now in perfect condition. A lovely smooth hot mix almost the whole way. Not that it means that we're going to speed or exceed the speed limit. We would never do that. In fact, there's really no reason to speed. The road is quite tight with its 35k corners, and so it's very pleasant to just roll along, swapping the bike from left to right as you go through the corners. I've been riding this road since the mid-1970s, but I never tire of it. It's still a really nice ride. I was out in front today, and I had absolutely no traffic in front of me the whole way along. There are only one or two little rest stops along the way, so I thought I'd stop here and just film the others going by. And while waiting, soak up the serenity. Ginger's Creek marks the end of the tight, twisty stuff, and it's afternoon tea time. Yes, you guessed it. Any excuse to stop, spend a bit of money, and have a talk about the road. But this is what riding with friends is all about. The cafe here at Ginger's Creek has struggled from time to time over the years. Hopefully it can still make a go of it, as the government introduces slower speed limits along the road. We're up on the tablelands now and heading almost directly west. I love it up here. It just makes you feel as though you're flying through the landscape. But it doesn't mean I shouldn't play silly buggers with the camera. As you can see, it looks flat, but it's actually at 1100 metres up here, and so quite a bit cooler than down at the coast. Oxley Falls is a favourite place to stop and have a bit of a stretch. But unfortunately, the river has stopped running completely. That's the bottom of the falls where the water is supposed to be flowing. There's a huge gorge through here, and you wouldn't know it was here unless you come right down into it. Oh dear, we have to climb all those steps again. I'm getting too old for this. Nice view though, that'll keep me going. It's getting late in the day now and it's not real pleasant riding directly into that sun. But it's only a few K and we roll into Walcha. Wendy and I are staying in the caravan park in a cabin so we can park our bikes under cover, because it's going to be a bit chilly tonight. Oh dear, I think I'm about to get embarrassed.
So Tala, you got some advice from Adrian today about your top box?
Yeah, I had it open. I was a very irresponsible driver.
And did you lose anything?
No, nothing lost. It's all good.
And then what happened?
Well, on the way out, his fell off. What can I say?
Adrian's top box actually fell off his bike.
Fell off. What can I say?
Out of the falls. How was the length of time between him telling you that you were irresponsible leaving it open and it falling off?
Probably about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Have a laugh at my expense. But what are friends for, I guess. Anyway, it's day 2 and we forgot to take any photos of the meal last night. It's a bit frosty.
Early morning this morning. It's supposed to be around the -3. So yeah.
And yes, it was, -3.5. But we don't care because it's a sparkling clear day. But because it's a bit chilly, we're going to have a slow, leisurely breakfast. And mine's going to be chock full of fat, salt, sugar and other nice things. The Royal Cafe is where we're eating, and it's excellent. And it's chock full of old trivia too. Whoops, sound turned down to protect the guilty, as the sauce goes everywhere.
What a time to bring out the camera.
It's after 10 o'clock when we decide to leave, and the temperature's up to about 13 degrees by now, so it's really not bad at all. We're heading down the Thunderbolt's Way towards Gloucester. Nice open country still on the tablelands. Wendy enters into the spirit of things and pretends she's flying. Just before we start heading off the tableland, there's this nice lookout. You've probably seen it in previous videos, but today, because of the crisp, clean day, it's a beautiful view. We're heading down off the tablelands now. I like this section of the road between here and Gloucester. Although the road down the mountain is quite chopped up in places, they are actually starting to repair it after all these years of neglect. We only came across 1 or 2 cars and this truck full of cattle. Didn't smell all that nice, and no, this is not slow motion. But we got past him fairly easily, and we're back into the open, windy country again. There's a nice campsite down there next to the river. We camped there once years ago. We need to go back again. But probably with the luxury of the 4-wheel drive caravan and the dog. I'm sitting at home narrating this and looking at the road and thinking, boy, I'd love to be out there now. It's only 150k from Walcha down to Gloucester, but because we left late, it's now lunchtime, so we get to have lunch here in Gloucester. It's about another 140 or so k from here to home, but this is where the video ends. It's been a fantastic 2 days away with friends, and we hope to do it again pretty soon. And we really enjoyed the addition of Lauren and Tale on this ride.